Tampa Bay Workforce Alliance. Welfare Transition Program Orientation.
Tampa Bay Workforce Alliance would like to welcome you today to our overview of the Welfare Transition Program. Today will be your formal introduction or orientation to a program which you will hear called the WT program throughout this presentation. Tampa Bay Workforce Alliance has developed a user-friendly way for you to learn about the WT program services available through this online orientation. You may also revisit any portion of this WT orientation or your online services at any time in the future by logging into your Tampa Bay Workforce Alliance WT portal. You recently applied to the Department of Children and Families, DCF, for cash assistance, or more commonly known as TANF, Temporary Assistance for Needy Families. To be determined eligible for benefits by DCF, you're required to work register and to begin to participate in a mandatory employment and training program operated by the Tampa Bay Workforce Alliance. The first step in completing your registration for the WT program is your attendance and documented completion of today's orientation. First, a little bit of information about Tampa Bay Workforce Alliance. We are a nonprofit agency located here in Hillsborough County for over 10 years. During that time, we have helped thousands of people just like you move from welfare to work. We have also helped individuals get training if they're interested in a particular job, but the job requires skills they don't currently have. This orientation is about the WT program, which is run by Tampa Bay Workforce Alliance, and how the services available in this program can help you find a job or first obtain some new job skills and then help you find a job. Confirming attendance. For us to be able to keep track of who has completed this orientation, an online quiz will appear at the end of the video. There will be 5 questions on this quiz. Those 5 questions and the correct answers will be provided to you during today's orientation. To assist you in the quiz, you may want to write down the correct answer on a separate piece of paper as the questions appear on your screen during this orientation. If at any time during the orientation you feel the need for additional assistance, please visit the Tampa Bay Workforce Alliance One-Stop Center located nearest you that offers the WT program on site and ask to see a Tampa Bay Workforce Alliance WT program staff. We will provide those locations to you later on in this orientation. Or if you are currently in a one-stop center, please pause the orientation video and ask a one-stop staff for assistance. Now let's take a closer look at what we will discuss today in the order in which it will appear in this WT program orientation. What is the Welfare Transition Program? What are the opportunities available to you in the WT program? What are your obligations in the WT program? What will happen if you do not meet your obligations? What are the other benefits offered by the Welfare Transition Program? What are the locations of the one-stop centers? What forms are you required to complete? What is the Welfare Transition Program? The Welfare Transition Program, called the WT program, is part of a much bigger nationwide workforce development system. The WT program is run in partnership with the Department of Children and Families. The workforce system helps individuals who are receiving welfare to find jobs with local employers, hiring in our area so they can become self-sufficient. Self-sufficient means that you no longer have to rely on public assistance or cash assistance to provide for you and your family. The primary goal of anyone enrolled in this program is to find and keep a job. We will talk today about the services available through the WT program, which are all aimed at assisting you in getting a job. We will also discuss the requirements of the WT program. These services and requirements are often called your opportunities and obligations. The WT program can assist you with access to training or additional education to help you work toward a career that will lead to self-sufficiency. As a WT program participant, you're required to attend appointments, to participate in assigned activities for a required number of hours each week, and to document your hours of participation in the WT program weekly. Question number 1, true or false? The Welfare Transition Program requires you to attend appointments and participate in assigned activities for a required number of hours each week. The answer is true. In order to continue receiving DCF benefits, you're required to attend all appointments that have been scheduled with your WT program career counselor and participate in activities that you have been assigned for a required number of hours each week. Now let's review the services available through the WT program. In this section of the orientation, you will learn about supportive services, case reviews, upfront diversion, relocation assistance, cash severance benefits, and different counseling services available through the WTP program. Let's look at these opportunities in more detail. Support services available under an incentive program. How to earn a support service incentive. The WTP program has developed an incentive program with a variety of benchmarks or goals that you must meet to earn an incentive. Once you meet a benchmark, if you have a documented need or barrier to participating in the WTP program or in obtaining a job, you may obtain a support service incentive to use to meet that need or overcome that barrier. What are the possible supportive services that you can use incentives for? If you have a need or barrier to participating in the WTP program or obtaining employment, then you may be eligible for one or more of the following. Support services are based on available funding and may include items such as assistance with transportation, work clothes, uniforms or clothes for interviews, assistance with car repairs, child care referral, other select services on a case-by-case basis. How can you get your case reviewed? If you are classified as a mandatory WTP program participant, you may ask to have decisions about your case reviewed by a welfare transition manager or supervisor. You may also request a fair hearing through DCF if your cash assistance or food stamps have been negatively affected. If you need further assistance, you may follow our local grievance process. Contact your assigned career counselor for details. You may also access a copy of the grievance process by logging into your WTP program portal. What is upfront diversion and how can it help you? If you do not need ongoing cash assistance but have an emergency need, then you may request to be evaluated for upfront diversion. Upfront diversion is a lump sum payment that is made in place of ongoing cash assistance, but it is only available once in your lifetime. You must discuss this option with your WTP staff member to see if you qualify prior to DCF authorizing you to receive cash assistance. In order to receive upfront diversion, you're required to complete an application for cash assistance with DCF, be determined potentially eligible for cash assistance, have an emergency need, which if met would result you not needing cash assistance and give you the ability to go to work immediately, and provide copies of bills to support your emergency need. You must apply for upfront diversion and be determined eligible and suitable before your cash assistance is authorized by DCF. If you are approved for upfront diversion, you have up to 90 days to report your employment information in order to be potentially eligible to receive transitional services. If you're not employed within 90 days, you will not be eligible for transitional services. We will tell you more about transitional services later in this orientation. What is relocation assistance and how can it help you? Relocation assistance helps pay the cost of moving to an area that has greater employment opportunities than where you are currently living. To be eligible, you must agree not to reapply for cash for a 6-month period. You must reside in an area which has limited employment opportunities and have a job offer in the area where you wish to relocate. Domestic violence victims may also be relocated. What is cash severance and how can it help you? Once you begin working, you may be eligible for $1,000 in place of receiving ongoing cash assistance. To be eligible, you must currently be receiving cash assistance, must apply for cash severance prior to your 47th month receiving cash assistance according to your WTP time clock, must be employed and expect to remain employed for at least 6 months, must have received cash assistance in the state of Florida for at least 6 consecutive months since October 1st, 1996, and must be earning enough in wages from your job to fully close your cash assistance. How do you access or request mental health or substance abuse counseling services? If you feel that you need to speak with an expert in mental health or substance abuse issues, please ask your career counselor to refer you to other services. During discussions with a WTP staff member, your staff member may provide a referral for following up or appointment with a mental health or substance abuse partner agency. How do you access domestic violence counseling services? If you are a victim of domestic violence, or if you feel you may be at risk of domestic violence, please talk to your career counselor immediately. Your safety is our first priority. Should you need domestic violence counseling, your career counselor will ask you to complete an alternative plan, and you will be asked to follow through with a referral to the Family Justice Center. Another opportunity available through the WTP program is developing an individual responsibility plan, also known as your IRP, with the help of your career counselor. Your individual responsibility plan, or IRP, will identify your employment goals, identify your need for services, identify your barriers to employment, map out your activities, and record or set many of the steps that you will follow throughout the WT program. You have a 48-month window of opportunity, or what is called a time clock, to receive cash assistance in the state of Florida. You can only receive cash assistance, or TANF, for a limited amount of time throughout your lifetime. Every WT program participant has the time-limited number of months of cash assistance that they may receive during their lifetime. Generally, you can only receive 48 checks of cash assistance. In other words, there are only 48 months of your TANF time clock. Think of it as a bank account. If you receive $1 of cash assistance in a month, then you use up one of your 48 checks. Any TANF-cased assistance you receive in other states will also count toward your 48-month time clock. When you have received 42 months of cash assistance checks, and therefore your time clock only has 6 remaining months, you will be asked to attend a hardship meeting with your career counselor to plan out how you can manage your remaining time and identify any unresolved barriers that you may have to getting and keeping a job. Question number 2, true or false? If you do not have transportation to get to work or to your WT program activity, then you may request transportation assistance after earning a WT incentive. The answer is true. When you meet your program requirements, which include achieving a program benchmark or goal to earn your incentive and remain eligible, you may receive support services such as transportation based on funding availability and your documented need. Now let's discuss your obligations under the WT program. In this section, you will learn what you are required to do to remain in the WT program. Requirements such as participating in required allowable WT activities that you have been assigned, the required number of hours that you must participate each and every week, how you must report changes in your situation, and what will happen if you do not meet the requirements. Let's take a look at these obligations or program requirements in more detail. What are you required to do in order to continue receiving services and your DCF cash assistance checks? You are required to participate in and complete all assigned program activities for the required number of hours each week. You are required to document your participation by turning in your timesheets. You are required to respond to all contacts from WT program staff and partners. You are required to report immediately to your assigned staff member your reasons for not attending any appointment or participating in any activity. You are required to tell us if any change in your information or situation has occurred, such as a change of address, phone number, services needed, or a change in activity, and you are required to apply for and accept any reasonable offer of employment and remain employed. What does participation mean to me? Your career counselor will work with you to develop an individual responsibility plan, IRP plan, based on your employment goals. A series of allowable activities will be identified for you to complete and/or attend for a certain number of hours each week to help prepare you for employment. As you complete and/or attend each of these activities for the required number of hours, you're considered to be participating. What are allowable activities under the WT program? Working at a job. This is when you are working and getting paid but still receiving cash assistance. Pay stubs and employment verification forms are required to document this activity. Vocational training, or going to school to train in a special skill or trade. The WT program promotes participants going to a vocational school or college to work towards a vocational certificate or degree. More information will be shared with you on training later in this orientation. Proof of enrollment and timesheets are required to document your school attendance. Community service, work experience. Various agencies throughout the community have partnered with TBWA to provide community service work experience opportunities at their place of employment. You would learn while on the job at a nonprofit or public agency. Timesheets are required for the hours spent at your work site. Work experience. Various private companies throughout the community have partnered with TBWA to provide work experience opportunities at their place of employment. You would learn while on the job at a for-profit company. Timesheets are required for the hours spent at your work site. Assisted job search and employment skills training. To help you in your job search, Job Smart Labs or workshops are held at our one-stop center locations. Other classes are offered to go over basic job search tips and skills, while self-service lab time is also available. One-on-one job search assistance can also be provided. Please ask the staff to set up an appointment for you. Basic job search assistance is also available through our resource rooms at each one-stop center. Please be aware that this is a time-limited activity under the WT program. On-the-job training. The Welfare Transition Program may partner with a local employer who will provide formal on-the-job training. This activity has prerequisite requirements. Providing childcare to an individual who is participating in a community service activity. If you're providing childcare without payment to another WT program customer in order for them to be in community service work experience, then the number of hours you provide childcare in this situation can be counted towards your total required hours. GED and ESOL classes. GED classes or the pursuit of a diploma will be required if you are a teen parent or you're under 20 years of age. If you are an adult customer, 20 years of age or over, GED or ESOL, English for speakers of other languages, classes can be a secondary or part-time activity. If an adult customer completes their required number of hours in an allowable primary activity, then the remainder, often up to 15 additional hours, can be counted from their GED or ESOL class attendance. See a WT staff member for more details. How many hours am I required to participate in each week? Current federal law and local workforce policy assigns the number of hours you are required to participate based on your household. A single-parent household can attend or complete up to 40 hours per week, but must complete the local minimum level of at least 35 hours per week. For a two-parent household, each parent can attend or complete up to 40 hours per week, or 80 hours for both parents. The minimum number of required hours of attendance or activity completion for a two-parent family established locally is 35 hours per week per parent per household, or a total of 70 hours for both parents each week. The number of hours of participation required each week may vary if you are or are not using federally subsidized childcare. We encourage two-parent households to discuss further details with a WT staff member. Remember that in order to continue receiving your DCF cash assistance benefits as a WT program participant, you must complete and/or attend assigned activities for a certain number of hours each week. Attend your scheduled appointments with your WT career counselor. Report any and all changes in your situation to your WT program career counselor and DCF. Question number 3. If you move or change phone numbers, what should you do? A. Nothing. I don't need to report that information. B. Notify the post office. They will forward my mail. C. Contact my WT career counselor and DCF with the changes. The answer is C. You're required to contact your WT program career counselor and DCF to report any and all changes. Now it's time to talk about sanctions. In this next section of the orientation, you will learn what happens if you do not meet the requirements of the WT program. This is called a sanction and will include the loss of your TANF and other DCF benefits. This section includes the process of a sanction, levels of sanctions, how to avoid a sanction, what to do if you're sanctioned, and how to get a sanction lifted. We would like everyone who is referred to the Welfare Transition Program to participate in their assigned activities for the required number of hours each week and document those hours of participation weekly, but we're aware that some people may fail to follow the program requirements. If you fail to follow the program requirements, you and your family members may be subject to a sanction. A sanction stops cash assistance, support services, childcare, and jeopardizes your household's food stamps. Program staff will work with each WT program participant to avoid a sanction whenever and wherever possible. However, to comply with local, state, and federal guidelines, we are required to request that DCF impose a WT sanction when an individual does not comply with the WT program requirements or fails to provide or document good cause. What can I get a sanction for? You can receive a sanction anytime you fail to comply with the WT program's requirements. A sanction can be requested by your WT program career counselor if you fail to keep a scheduled appointment, fail to participate in the activities assigned to you, fail to provide requested documentation such as a timesheet, paycheck stubs, school documentation, medical documentation, or information on SSI, SSDI, such as status updates. Failed to accept suitable employment or refuse a referral to a suitable job. Failed to follow requirements of your IRP. Failed to meet program requirements twice within a 30-day period. Failed to follow a treatment plan, doctor's orders, or alternative requirement plan. Are terminated from your job or your hours on the job are reduced without good cause. What is the sanction process? As a first step, you will be sent a warning letter called a Notice of Failure and Possible Sanction, telling you what you need to do next. Remember, always let us know as soon as possible if you have moved so our letters go to the correct address. As a courtesy, we will also try to call you. Please keep your telephone number current. You will be asked to make an appointment and meet with your WT program career counselor within 10 days from the date of the letter. If you do respond to the warning letter, you will be given an opportunity to provide reasons why you failed to comply with the WT program requirements. This is called good cause. Good cause documentation must be submitted to your WT program career counselor within 3 business days. If you do respond to the warning letter, but your good cause reason or documentation is not approved, then your career counselor will assist you during your sanction counseling with how to get back on track. If you do not respond to the letter, a sanction will be requested as required by law. The WT program staff requests sanctions through DCF. DCF does the actual termination of benefits. If you fail twice within a 30-day period, you may be sanctioned for your second failure. Now let's review the level of sanctions and penalties. There are 3. For the first level, you and your family will face loss of cash assistance for a minimum of 10 days or as long as it takes for you to comply, loss of food stamps for 30 days, and loss of child care and supportive services. There is no penalty or waiting period for you to begin to comply with the program requirements and rules. You can get back on track immediately. For the second level, you and your family will face loss of cash assistance for a minimum of 30 days or as long as it takes for you to comply, loss of food stamps for 90 days, and loss of child care and supportive services. Under a Level 2 sanction, you are not able to begin compliance until a 1-month penalty has been served, but you may request a protective payee through DCF for your children. A protective payee is when another family member is designated by DCF to receive your children's cash assistance. For the third level, you and your family will face loss of cash for a minimum of 3 months, loss of food stamps for 6 months, and loss of child care and supportive services. Under a Level 3 sanction, you are not able to begin compliance until a 3-month penalty has been served. But again, you may request a protective payee through DCF for your children. A protective payee is when another family member is designated by DCF to receive your children's cash assistance. If you continue to not comply with the WT program rules, a Level 3 sanction may be repeated. How do you avoid a sanction for non-compliance? To help guide you through your activities and employment, you will develop an individual responsibility plan called an IRP with your WT program career counselor. The IRP will outline your activities, requirements, and deadlines as you work toward your employment goals. You must follow the steps in your IRP. It is good practice to never leave an appointment with your career counselor without confirming what your next step is and when your next appointment will be. We recommend that you meet frequently with your WT program career counselor. what paperwork is needed from you, and when is it due to your WT Program Career Counselor. Also, always be sure to keep your phone and address current with WT Program staff and DCF. Keep your scheduled appointments with your career counselor. Remember, if you find yourself unable to keep an appointment or you are unable to follow your IRP, you must contact your career counselor immediately for assistance. Be sure to check your mail and follow up on any letters received from WT Program staff or DCF. Do not stop or change your assigned activity unless first discussing it with your WT Program Career Counselor. Make sure you attend the activities assigned for the required number of hours each and every week. Ensure you stay in contact with your WT Program Career Counselor. Following these steps will help you remain in compliance with the requirements of the Welfare Transition Program. What should you do if you receive a sanction? If you are unable to participate in your assigned activity and have a good cause, which can be documented, then please contact your WT Program Career Counselor right away to present or request your good cause reason or reasons. It is easier for your career counselor to assist you when they know ahead of time that a barrier or problem has arisen. However, unexpected things will come up in daily life, but we encourage you to contact your WT Program Career Counselor as soon as you are able. Delays in reporting will result in good cause not being approved and a sanction possibly being requested. Should you present a good cause reason, your sanction will be reviewed by a WT Program supervisor. If the supervisor determines you had good cause and you reported it in a timely manner, then the sanction may be lifted and the monies lost during the sanction period may be paid to you. Some possible examples of good cause are: if you have a death in your immediate family, if you become ill and are unable to work or you are hospitalized, and if emergency circumstances arise that are beyond your control, such as your child becomes ill and there is no one else to watch the child. Again, our recommendation is for you to call your WT Program Career Counselor prior to missing an appointment or activity whenever possible. If you are sanctioned, how do you get the sanction lifted? Please contact your WT Program Career Counselor and let him or her know that you want to begin participating in the WT program again. It is required by law that you request your sanction be lifted. You will need to meet with your career counselor for a counseling session. Our goal will be to review your needs and barriers, revisit your IRP, and discuss how to avoid any future sanction. You will also discuss your barriers and needs and update your IRP. For a first-level sanction, once you actually begin participating again, your WT Program Career Counselor may request a lift of your sanction through DCF. Remember, the start of compliance or participation must be documented to the WT program. During a second or third level sanction, there is a mandatory penalty period you must serve before you can begin participating again. Remember, DCF processes the request for the sanction to be lifted, and that means there may be a time delay in their ability to process the request. If you have been without benefits for a period of time, you may need to reapply for cash assistance as well as comply with the WT program. Question number 4. If a WTP customer is unable to attend a scheduled appointment and fails to call, what will happen? A. Nothing. The customer can attend appointments as they choose. B. A warning letter called Notice of Possible Failure will be mailed to the customer. C. The customer will be sanctioned immediately. The answer is B. The customer will first receive a notice of possible failure, which, if unanswered, may lead to a sanction. A second failure within a 30-day period results in an immediate sanction. Let's discuss some additional services and resources you may receive. You may be or may become eligible for other services such as childcare, GED tuition, TABE testing, license fees as you follow your IRP towards your employment goals. For customers who are interested in attending school to obtain specific occupational skills, you may be eligible for funding through the Welfare Transition Program. Talk to your WT Program Career Counselor to get more details about this opportunity. Support and training services do not end at employment. We are very committed to helping our customers achieve success in their jobs. developing a career path, and ultimately move to self-sufficiency. Continued support services are a part of that process. Working customers enjoy the security and confidence received from their new employment and earnings, which increase their household income far greater than currently seen with cash assistance alone. Be eligible for cash severance. Working customers may be eligible for a cash severance payment of $1,000. You may receive up to 2 years of transitional child care, transportation for up to 6 months, and other services even after you are employed. Medicaid is also available for up to 1 year. Additionally, you may be eligible for WT program funding to cover the cost of training to upgrade your job skills and move up the career ladder with your employer. You can coordinate these retention or transitional services directly through your assigned WT program career counselor, and often don't even have to come into the office to access these services. If you would like to continue to receive transitional services, you're required to submit pay stubs on a monthly basis. We need to caution you, however, a sanction will jeopardize your transitional benefits. State law prohibits continued services to any sanctioned individual. If your cash assistance case closes due to a sanction, then you will not be eligible for transitional benefits even though you were working at the time. Let's go over an example to better explain this scenario. A welfare transition customer is currently receiving cash assistance and is participating in a Job Smart workshop. The customer fails to submit timesheets and is therefore sanctioned. The customer's cash assistance case closes due to the sanction. The customer then becomes employed full-time. This customer is no longer eligible for any transitional support services, including transitional childcare, because of the sanction. If you are looking for community resources, then 211 is your quick guide. 211 is a nonprofit agency that maintains a list of available community agencies and services that they provide, such as free adult education, shelter, and utility payment assistance. You can access 211 online at www.211tampabay.org. You can also call directly by dialing 211 on the telephone. Please ask a WT program staff member for assistance. Question number 5, true or false? If a welfare transition customer gets a job and begins work, then their support services end. The answer is false. As long as the customer remains in compliance with the program requirements, continues to meet their benchmarks, and earn incentives, their household income remains under 200% of the poverty level and funding is available, then support services will be available even after they have begun working. Office locations. TBWA offers one-stop center locations throughout Hillsborough County to help serve you more conveniently. WT program career counselors are available for appointments at the following locations: Tampa Center, 9215 North Florida Avenue, Tampa, Florida 33612 at 813-930-7400. Brandon Center, 9350 Bay Plaza Boulevard, Tampa, Florida 33619 at 813-930-7832. Ruskin Center, 201 14th Avenue Southeast, Ruskin, Florida 33570 at 813-930-7400, extension 7171. Plant City Center, 2001 East Cherry Street, Plant City, Florida 33563, 813-930-7880. Hours of operation, Monday through Friday, 8 to 5 p.m. daily unless otherwise noted. What's next? As we are nearing the end of today's orientation, let's focus on what's next. Please make sure to complete each of the online forms fully. The online forms consist of 2 parts: the WTP intake application and assessment, and the other WTP required forms and acknowledgments. Please make sure to complete the orientation quiz directly following this WT orientation video. You may print the completion of the WT orientation certificate for your records, which confirms your attendance and completion of the orientation. We will retain a copy of your completion as well. If you are at a one-stop center and you have completed the online process, please ask to speak directly with a welfare transition staff member to begin What's Next. After you complete the program orientation and online process, staff will direct you to begin and attend the Job Smart workshop required to complete your work registration requirements. If you are not at a one-stop center, after you have completed the online WT forms and the orientation quiz, please come into one of the WT offices to see a WT staff member. Upon completion of your orientation and the Job Smart workshop, a WT staff member will report your completion to DCF electronically, and DCF will then start your benefits. In closing, we want you to know that we are here to help you find a job that will lead to self-sufficiency and keep that job. Please remember to tell us about your needs and let us know if you're having any trouble following your plan. Thank you for attending this orientation session with us today. Contact a WT program staff with any questions.
Thank you for completing the orientation for the Welfare Transition Program. We hope to assist you on your path to self-sufficiency. Tampa Bay Workforce Alliance.